Baku is a city on the rise. The surrounding oil fields have resulted in a booming economy, and Azerbaijan's capital is now quite the jewel on the Caspian Sea. It was also a hotbed of football in its old days as a Soviet republic, and now its newfound wealth will hopefully usher in an age of success. Elkan Mammadov is the General Secretary of the Azeri Football Association.
We love our football in Azerbaijan. We've been playing football for the past 100 years. Though unfortunately, we don't have any great big football achievements to our name. Regardless of that, Azeris still love football. They love attending games and watching football. I believe that if we take the path we're currently on, we could make our people very happy. Our national champions, Neftchi Baku, have made it into the group stage of the Europa League, which is quite an achievement for us. It shows that Azerbaijan believes in its football.
But that support hasn't really extended to the women's game, at least not until recently. The arrival of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, easily the most important football tournament ever to come to Azerbaijan, has galvanised local interest. The women's Under-17 squad is now one of the most feted in the country.
I must admit that there was no demand for women's football here at first. But in the last 25 months or so, we've managed to change the way people perceive the women's game. Our people have seen that women's football is normal football, and they've changed their attitude towards the practice. Women would never have considered even attending training before. As you may know, we have a very well-known volleyball team in Azerbaijan, we have famous wrestlers, and now we have women's football.
However, the women's game in Azerbaijan is starting from an extremely low base. In order to put a decent team on the field, Sylvia Wraith, a former German international with a wealth of experience, was engaged to build a squad.
I'm constantly asked this question, and my answer is always the same. When we started here 2.5 years ago, there was nothing here, nothing. The girls understood nothing about football, and we really had to start with the basics. Now we've become a team that's grown together through sweat and hard work, and we're now in a position to show that we're good footballers. I hope that my players do themselves justice in the opening game.
Facing Azerbaijan in their opening match were Colombia. Over the last few years, the women's game in South America has really taken off, with the likes of Marta, the Brazilian superstar, acting as role models. Colombia's seniors qualified for last year's World Cup in Germany, and this is the second time the Under-17s have participated in their age group tournament.
We've made great progress. Nowadays, we're seen as a powerhouse in South America after Brazil. It's something we've demonstrated these past 4 years. We've had the opportunity to take part in 2 Under-17 World Cups. We've also been in an Under-20 World Cup, the Olympic Games and the Pan American Games, and we've made it that far thanks to our excellent qualifying campaigns.
With an opening ceremony as spectacular as any, featuring the acrobats of Cirque du Soleil and the vocal talents of Jennifer Lopez, the Azeri crowd hoped their girls could do them proud. Sadly, it wasn't to be. The Colombians won 4-0 in the end, and the hosts will need to put it down as a learning experience. Colombia finished behind Brazil in the South American qualifiers. Brazilian women's football has the deepest structure on their continent, but though they're perennial qualifiers, their junior teams have never progressed far.
There's been a noticeable growth of women's football in Brazil, and it will be helped if we win a World Cup title, whether it be in the under-17s or under-20s. These are the FIFA categories, and all of their World Cups are very well organised. We need to win a title like that, to consolidate our growth, and as testament to our hard work. The under-17s have a great responsibility, but I don't think there's more pressure on them. I think every team has a big responsibility, whether they've won a title in the past or not.
However, at the under-17 age group level, it's the Asian nations that have dominated. The two Koreas, who divided the first two tournaments between them, and Japan, the current continental champions, have been the teams to beat.
The youth system has been supplying the Japanese teams with players for years. And I think that these Japanese teams are the ones that the rest of the world now measures themselves against. Even the USA has spent time going to play in Asia. But Brazil deserves respect as well. Our players also come from a great system.
The Japanese was certainly far too good for Brazil. "5-0 the final score. And when the groups gave way to the quarterfinals, few expected Ghana to provide Japan with much of a hurdle. Except, of course, that unpredictability is one of football's great charms. A goalkeeping error and a sterling defensive performance saw the Africans register an unlikely triumph. So to the last four, up against Ghana were France, a nation that's come to women's football later than some, but has more than made up for lost time. 2 goals from Diani saw the French into the final. The other semi saw DPR Korea, the first winners of this tournament in 2008, up against Germany. A brace of goals from Kim So-kyang put the Koreans safely through. The final was played in a packed Tofik Bakramov Stadium in Baku. France took the lead, Leah de Klerk the scorer in the 33rd minute. With little more than 10 minutes left, back came DPR Korea. Ryun Sim with the equaliser. There's no extra time for the under-17s, so it was straight to penalties. With the score 7-6 to France, Ryun Yong's shot was saved. For the first time, the title was going to Europe. France, winners of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup of 2012.